Oh, about time.
right now as I'm
Getting
recording this.
man, for y'all get in, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. We finna get into this Yella Beezy shit, bro. In the three. You hear me?
Video, one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Dallas is preparing to stand trial for capital murder, not for pulling the trigger, not for being in the car, but for allegedly paying another man to chase down and kill his rival, a fellow Dallas rapper from the same neighborhood, in broad daylight on a packed interstate highway at noon on camera. The rapper facing trial is Yella Beezy. The rapper who died is Mo3, and the war between them is without exaggeration the deadliest rap beef in the history of Dallas, Texas. And here's the thing that makes the story so insane. These two men grew up in the same part of the city. They came up in the rap game at the same time. They repped the same streets. On paper, they should have been allies, two Oak Cliff artists putting Dallas on the
I
map
think I
together.
watched some of this last
Instead,
night.
over the course of about 5 years, their rivalry allegedly escalated from subliminal disses to a comedian being beaten and later shot, to Yella Beezy himself getting hit 3 times in a drive-by on a tollway, to $1 million lawsuit, and finally, to a masked gunman stepping out of a black Camaro on Interstate 35 with a firearm in his hand. Prosecutors now claim they can prove Yella Beezy was the man behind that gunman. They say they have phone records. They say they have witnesses. They say they have
I'm out
financial
of there.
records showing Beezy withdrew $40,000 in cash within days of the murder. And in one of the most controversial moves in the entire case, they're trying to use Yella Beezy's own rap lyrics against them in court. 4 specific songs that they claim tell the story of this feud in Beezy's own words. Yella Beezy has pleaded not guilty. His lawyers say the evidence against him is weak, and it's important that I say this up front. He is innocent until proven guilty, and nothing in this case has been decided yet. But the story of how we got here, how 2 kids from Oak Cliff ended up on opposite sides of a
Not for
courtroom,
both of them,
one of them in a
bro.
grave and the other facing life without parole or even the death penalty, is one of the wildest, saddest, and most complicated stories in modern hip hop. So today, we're going to break down the entire war from the very beginning, the mysterious origins that nobody can fully agree on, the comedian whose death changed everything,
I put
the
that man
diss tracks,
early.
the public denials that, looking back, hit completely different, the highway execution that shocked the country, the years-long investigation that followed the phones and the money, and the mountain of evidence and the massive holes in it that a Dallas jury is going to have to sort through very soon. You'll see what I mean as we go through this video, because trust me, every time you think the story can't get crazier, it does. Let's get into it. Before we get into the beef itself, you need to understand where these two men came from, because honestly, the setting is half the story. Oak Cliff is a huge area on the south side of Dallas, just across the Trinity River from downtown. And if you've never been to Dallas, you have to understand something about the city's relationship with hip hop. For decades, Dallas was the
Turn this
forgotten
low.
city of Southern rap. Houston had UGK, Scarface, DJ Screw, the whole Chop and Screwed movement. Atlanta had, well, everything. Memphis had 3-6 Mafia. New Orleans had Cash Money and No Limit. And Dallas, the ninth biggest city in America, had basically no national rap identity at all. There were local legends, sure, but no one had truly broken through and carried the city on their back. So by the mid 2010s, Dallas was starving for a star. And Oak Cliff, a neighborhood with deep culture, deep pride, and unfortunately deep problems with poverty and gang violence, produced 2 of them at almost the exact same time. The first was Melvin Noble, better known as Mo3.
Three
Mo3
is
was
not from
born
the
in
cliff.
1992, and by his own account, he
Three
had
is
a
not
rough
from the cliff,
upbringing,
bro.
raised in the middle of everything
Trapping
Oak Cliff could throw at a young man,
Yella
in and
Beezy.
out of trouble from an early age, surrounded by the streets in a way that wasn't a
Them boys
costume
from the
or a
cliff.
marketing angle. It was just his life. And for Mo3, that life became the fuel for his music. He started grinding through the Dallas mixtape scene in the early 2010s, dropping projects in the Shotaz series. And that name Shotaz would become the name of his whole movement, his label, his brand, everything. And what separated Mo3 from basically every other street rapper in Texas was that the man could actually sing, like genuinely sing. His whole style was this blend of melodic pain music, singing about betrayal, loss, loyalty, dead friends, absent fathers, and survival, delivered with this raw cracking emotion that made every song feel like a confession. He drew constant comparisons to artists like Kevin Gates and Boosie Badaz, because like them, Mo3 didn't really make club records or radio bait. He made music for people who were going through something. And that's exactly why his fan base was so loyal. You don't casually listen to an artist like Mo3. You either don't get it at all, or he becomes your favorite rapper. And that Bootsy comparison isn't random, because Bootsy himself heard Mo3 and immediately recognized the kindred spirit. Bootsy took him under his wing in a real way, not just a feature for hire situation, but a genuine mentorship. The two of them ended up recording a whole collaborative album together called Badaz Mo3, and Mo3's 2019 remix of his song Everybody with Bootsy became his biggest national moment, racking up tens of millions of views and finally putting his name in front of audiences outside of Texas. By 2020, Mo3 had over 800,000 followers on Instagram. His streaming numbers were climbing every month, and he was widely seen as the heart and soul of Dallas street rap. He wasn't the most famous Dallas rapper nationally, but in Dallas itself, Mo3 was beloved on a different level. People didn't just listen to Mo3, people felt Mo3. Ask anybody from Dallas and they'll tell you the same thing. The second star was Marquise Conway, better known as Yella Beezy. Beezy was born in 1991, so these two are basically the same age, and his story is honestly just as rough, maybe rougher in some ways. His father was murdered when Beezy was around 12 years old, shot and killed, leaving Beezy as a kid who suddenly had to figure out manhood on his own in Oak Cliff. He's talked openly in interviews about hustling as a teenager to help keep the lights on and support his family, doing whatever he had to do. He started rapping young, and just like Mo3, he spent years grinding through the Dallas mixtape circuit with basically no national attention, dropping projects, doing local shows, building a name block by block with no guarantee any of it would ever pay off. And then in 2017, everything changed. Yella Beezy dropped a song called That's On Me. And if you were anywhere near hip hop in 2017 and 2018, you know this song. I don't even need to play it. It's already in your head. It started as a regional Dallas anthem, the kind of record that every car in the city was playing with the windows down. Then it spread across Texas. Then the remix came, loaded with features from Jeezy, Boosie, and more. And the song eventually charted on the Billboard Hot 100 for a Dallas street rapper with no major machine behind him at the start. That was unheard of. Yella Beezy became arguably the biggest mainstream rap star Dallas had produced in a generation. And he didn't stop there. He followed it up with Back at It Again, what Quavo and Gucci made in 2019, which became another hit. He got records with Chris Brown with Young Thug. And in one of the most surreal moments for Dallas hip-hop ever, when Beyonce and Jay-Z brought their On the Run 2 stadium tour through Dallas, the hometown artist they had opened the show was Yella Beezy. Think about that trajectory. A kid whose father was murdered hustling in Oak Cliff at 14, standing on a stadium stage warming up for the two biggest stars on planet Earth. Beezy wasn't just a local legend anymore. He was a national artist, and he was the one carrying the Dallas flag on the biggest stages. So picture the situation. You've got two rappers, same city, same side of town, same generation, both repping Oak Cliff, both coming up at the exact same time. One of them, Mo3, owned the streets and the hearts of Dallas. The other, Yella Beezy, owned the charts and the national spotlight. And in a city that had been waiting decades for its moment in hip-hop, there was a very real question hanging in the air in every club, every barbershop, every comment section: who actually runs Dallas? Now, in most cities, that question gets settled with music. A couple diss tracks, some back and forth on Instagram, maybe a legendary battle, and everybody eats off the attention. Competition like that has fueled some of the greatest music in hip-hop history. That is not what happened here. What happened here is the worst case version of that story, and it's a version that sadly hip-hop has seen before in other cities. Because when two artists come from the same streets, the beef never stays on wax. The streets always get a vote. So here's where I have to be honest with you, because like I always say, I want to be straight up about what's confirmed and what's speculation. Nobody can point to one single confirmed moment where this beef officially began. Even the prosecutors in this case, the people whose literal job is to build a timeline, trace the rivalry back to different events depending on which filing you read. The true origin is genuinely murky, and anyone who tells you they know exactly how it started is either guessing or lying. But there are basically two main theories, and honestly, they're probably both partially true. The first theory is the simplest. One, competition. Like I said, these were two artists fighting over the same city, the same fan base, the same clubs, the same radio spins, and in a lot of ways, the same identity. Both of them repped Oak Cliff. Both of them claimed to be the
Oh,
authentic
get
voice
this
of
book off
Dallas.
of Clip.
And in street rap,
Anybody
authenticity
don't know what
isn't
you're
just
talking about?
marketing, it's
I did
everything.
my
It's
research
the
like where that's
entire
from.
product. If your whole brand is being the realest artist from your city, then another artist making the same claim isn't just competition. He's calling you a liar just by existing. Multiple people from the Dallas scene have said over the years that the tension was really about turf, not physical turf, but cultural turf. Who gets to be the face of Dallas? Who gets the credit for putting the city on? And there was an extra layer to it too, because their lanes created this natural resentment in both directions. From one side, you could look at Beezy and say he's got the hits, but the streets belong to Mo3. From the other side, you could look at Mo3 and say he's got the streets, but Beezy's the one on Billboard. Each man had exactly the thing the other one's fans could throw in his face. That's a recipe for friction even between artists who like each other. And these two did not like each other. The second theory is the one you've probably heard if you follow this story at all, that the friction started over a woman. This rumor has floated around the Dallas scene for years. The idea that somewhere in the mid 2010s, before either of them was truly famous, there was some personal falling out involving a woman that poisoned the relationship early, long before the public ever knew either name. Now, I want to be careful here. This has never been confirmed by either camp, and neither man ever publicly stood up and said this is about a girl. But it's been repeated by so many people close to the Dallas scene for so many years that it's become part of the accepted lore of this beef. So take it for exactly what it is, a widely believed rumor, not a proven fact. And honestly, if you know how these situations usually go, a personal
Supposed to
issue
start
like
over
that
Gen
sitting
Z, bro.
underneath a
That
professional
shit crazy,
rivalry would
bro.
explain a lot, because pure music competition usually doesn't produce the kind of hatred we're about to get into. And here's my take. In the end, it doesn't really matter which origin story is true, because whatever the original spark was, it got buried almost immediately under years of escalation. What we know for sure is that by 2017, the two came for throwing shots at each other on social media and slipping subliminal jabs into songs. Nothing with names attached. Nothing you could screenshot and say, there it is, that's the declaration of war. Just that constant simmering, everybody in the city knows but nobody says it type of tension. The kind of tension where fans of one artist don't go to the other artist section of the club. The kind where promoters know not to book
Bro,
them on the same bill.
that Dallas
And it might have
gone,
stayed
bro.
that way forever. Just another local rap rivalry that tourists never hear about, if not for what happened next. Because in 2017 and 2018, this stopped being about music and it started, of all things, with a comedian. This is the part of the story that,
Roy Lee,
according to
man. RP that
prosecutors,
man.
changed everything. And what's crazy is that it doesn't even start with either rapper. It starts with a local Dallas comedian named Roy Lee Pay, the kind of local figure everybody had a story about. And importantly for this video, he was a friend of Mo3. He was affiliated with Mo3's side of the city, Mo3's circle, Mo3's
Bro,
world. And at some point around 2017, Roy Lee did
Roy Lee
something
was
that
from
seems
Dixie, bro.
almost
South Dallas,
harmless on
bro.
the surface. He publicly questioned whether
I'm
Yella
from
Beezy was really
North
from
Dallas, bro.
Dallas. He basically got online and challenged Beezy's authenticity, joked about it, poked at it, put it out there in public. Now, if you've been paying attention to everything I just laid out, you already understand why this was so much bigger than a joke, because Roy Lee wasn't poking at a random topic. He was poking at the exact soft spot this entire rivalry was built on. Remember, Beezy's entire rise was built on being the pride of Oak Cliff, the hometown kid who made it out and made it big. His whole legitimacy as the face of Dallas rap rested on him being authentically from Dallas. So having a popular local comedian, one associated with your rival's camp, by the way, publicly suggesting you're not even really from the city, in street rap terms, that's not comedy. That's an attack on the foundation of your entire career. And it's the kind of attack that spreads because it's funny, and funny travels faster than facts. And according to detective testimony that has since come out in court, Beezy allegedly did not take it as a joke. Detectives have testified that Roy Lee Pate was physically assaulted by Conway, that's Yella Beezy's legal name, Marquise Conway, and members of his entourage after those comments, a beating allegedly delivered as punishment for the disrespect. Now, I want to be clear about sourcing here, like always. That account comes from law enforcement testimony and is part of the prosecution's narrative of this case. so treat it with the appropriate caution. Beezy has never been convicted of anything related to Roy Pate, but according to that testimony, this assault happened and it marked the moment the feud crossed over from words into physical violence. The
So they
line
getting in
had been
trouble right there.
crossed, and once that line gets crossed in
I
a
don't think
beef
they
like
allow
this,
that
it
video.
almost never gets uncrossed. And then it got so much darker because more than a year after that alleged assault, Rolly Pate was shot. He survived the initial shooting, but he later died from complications related to it. Let that settle for a second. A comedian, a guy whose entire role in life was making people laugh,
Nigga
dead,
really was a
and in the
fool.
eyes of a huge portion of Dallas, dead because he'd gotten caught in the crossfire of a rap feud that at the start had absolutely nothing to do with him. His only crime, if you can even call it that, was a joke about where a rapper was from. Now, and this is really important, so listen carefully, nobody has ever been convicted for Roy Pate's death in connection with this feud, and Yella Beezy has never been charged with it. I am not sitting here telling you Beezy had anything to do with that shooting because that has not been proven anywhere by anyone. But what I can tell you is how it landed in the streets. Mo3's side and a huge chunk of the Dallas scene believed there was a connection. Look at it from their perspective. Roy Lee was Mo3's friend. Roy Lee got beaten allegedly by Beezy in his camp. Then Roy Lee got
Gotta jump to the
shot,
club.
and then Roy Lee died. You can see how people connected those dots, whether the dots actually deserved to be connected or not. Perception became reality. And in the streets, perception is what gets people killed. Which brings us to the part of the timeline that, even after covering stories like this for years, still gives me chills. Because here's what happened next. Hours, and I mean hours, after Roy Pate died, Yella Beezy was driving on the Sam Rayburn Tollway in Louisville, a suburb north of Dallas. It was October 2018, and as he drove, another vehicle pulled up alongside his car and opened fire. Multiple shots. Beezy was hit 3 times. He survived. He was hospitalized, he recovered, and he later went on the Breakfast Club and talked about the
Whoever
shooting,
did that
about
work
how
should have
close he
stopped.
came to dying,
Whoever
about what
did
it's
that
like to
work
take
should have
3
stopped and
bullets
made
and
sure
live
he
to
was
talk
gone.
about it. But let's just sit with that timing for a second because it's the single most suspicious sequence in this entire story before the murder itself. The comedian who beefed with Beezy dies from his shooting, and within hours of that death, Beezy himself is slumped in a car on a tollway with 3 bullets in him. Was it retaliation? Officially, we don't know. And I have to keep it real with you. The tollway shooting was never solved. No one was ever arrested for it. No one was ever charged. Beezy himself, as far as the public record shows, never named who he believed did it. So on paper, it's an unsolved shooting with no established motive. But come on, nobody in Dallas thought that was a coincidence. The streets did the math instantly the same way you're doing it right now. And whatever the truth actually is, here's what matters for our story. From that night forward, this was no longer a rap beef. This was a war. Both sides had bled. Real blood, real hospital beds, real funerals. And in situations like this, once both sides have bled, history tells us the same thing every single time.
And they
Somebody
gonna
ends
end
up
good.
dead. The only question is who and when. So it's 2019 now. Roy Pate is dead. Yella Beezy has survived being shot 3 times. The city is holding its breath. And you would think with tensions this high, both rappers would do one of 2 things. Either go fully, publicly at each other's necks on record, names, faces, everything, or sit down, squash it, and walk away before someone else dies. Instead, we got this fascinating, unsettling middle ground, a Cold War on wax. And looking back at it now, knowing what was coming, it's honestly eerie to revisit. Mo3 started dropping records that fans immediately read as shots at Beezy. 2 songs in particular, Let Me Find It and Slide on M, had the whole city dissecting lyrics line by line like they were court documents. And here's the thing about Mo3's approach, because it tells you a lot about how these situations actually work. He never said Yella Beezy's name. Not once, not on
I
any
never
record.
whatchamacallit.
Everything was
Fred in
implication,
the back up
innuendo,
there.
bar by bar suggestion, descriptions
That
that
nigga
felt
think
pointed,
fool.
scenarios that felt specific, threats that felt addressed. But Dallas isn't stupid. When Mo3 rapped about sliding on somebody, about catching somebody lacking, about somebody who wasn't really who he claimed to be, fans and hip hop observers alike speculated those bars were aimed at exactly one man. Now, I can't tell you with certainty that every one of those lyrics was about Beezy. Mo3 took those answers to his grave, And artists always have deniability when no names are said. But the perception in the city was basically universal. Everybody knew who the songs were about, even though technically they were about nobody. And then Mo3 dropped a record that took things to another level entirely. A song called 219,
That bitch went
which
hard
he
too.
reportedly released on Roy Pate's birthday. Let that sink in
Oof,
for a second. On his dead
that
friend's
bitch the
birthday,
coldest diss song
Mo3
I ever
drops a
heard,
track,
boy.
and some listeners interpreted lyrics on that record as flat out accusing Beezy of being involved in Roy's death. Again, accusing through implication, never by name, always with that layer of deniability. But think about the choice itself. Of all the days in the year to release that song, he picked Roy's birthday. That's not an accident. That's not a coincidence in a marketing calendar. That's a message delivered with a date stamp. And everybody in Dallas received it loud and clear. If the beef had any chance of cooling off after 2018, 219 made sure it didn't.
That
Now,
bitch was
here's
so
where this
hard.
chapter gets really strange. And honestly, this is my favorite part of the whole story to analyze. Because while all of this was happening on record, the disses, the accusations, the birthday releases, both men went on camera, looked into the lens, and denied everything. Mo3 sat down with DJ Vlad in 2019, and when the beef came up, he waved it off completely, said there was no beef, nothing going on. And then Vlad asked him about Yella Beezy getting shot on that tollway in 2018. And Mo3 gave an answer that has been replayed millions of times since because of how cold it sounds in hindsight. He said, quote, "You got to stay out of the way." Think about that answer, man. Really think about it. He's asked about his alleged rival being shot 3 times and nearly dying. And his response is essentially, well, that's what happens when you don't move correctly. He's not sad about it. He's not sympathetic. He's not wishing anybody a speedy recovery. But he's also not claiming it, not celebrating it, not saying anything you could ever use against him. It's this perfectly ambiguous street answer. It says everything and nothing at the same time. It's honestly a masterclass in saying nothing while making sure everybody hears you. And I'm not gonna lie, watching that clip back today, knowing that Mo3 had roughly a year left to live when he said those words,
Really.
knowing that he would be the next one who didn't stay out of the way, it's genuinely
Step a man
haunting.
dance,
It's
goddamn.
one of those interviews that time completely transformed. Yella Beezy, for his part, played it even cooler. In his own interviews around that time, Beezy claimed he didn't have any real beef with anybody in the city. And at one point, he went so far as to claim he didn't even know who Mo3 was, which, let's be real for a second, is one of the most transparent flexes in rap history. This man absolutely knew who Mo3 was. They were from the same neighborhood. They came up in the same scene, in the same years, in the same clubs. Their names have been linked in every Dallas rap conversation for half a decade. Saying I don't know who that is an ignorance. It's a diss. It's a celebrity version of looking at your rival and saying, "You are so far beneath me that acknowledging your existence would be a favor." And everybody understood exactly what it meant, including, you have to assume, Mo3 himself. In a beef built on the question of who really runs Dallas, "I don't know him" was Beezy's way of answering the question without answering it. So that was the state of play going into 2020. Two rappers publicly insisting there was no beef, while their music, their camps, their histories, and their entire city said otherwise. And here's why those denials matter so much now, years later. They're going to collide in the courtroom. Prosecutors are going to argue that the public no beef statements were a front, a smokescreen over a very real, very violent rivalry that had already left one man dead and another man shot 3 times. The defense, on the other hand, can hold up those exact same interviews and say, look, both men on camera, unprompted, said there was no beef. The alleged victim himself said it. Where's the motive? Those 2019 interviews are going to be picked apart word by word in that courtroom. Mark my words. And it's a strange thing to realize that two men trying to look unbothered at interviews may have accidentally created evidence for both sides of a future murder trial. All right, real quick before we get into
That case started
2020,
on the 24th.
because trust me, you're going to
Just
want
at
to be
9
locked
days
in for
left.
what's coming.
Wait till
Let
this
me
bitch
tell you about
start.
today's sponsor, connected back to the video of Possible, for example. Look, we just spent 20 minutes talking about people saying one thing in public and doing another behind the scenes, which is exactly why I appreciate a company that's actually straight up about what you're getting. Huge thank you to for sponsoring this video. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment if you want to check them out and support the channel at the same time. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, January 2020. A strip club called V Live and a dislocated hip. If there was any doubt left that this
Rainwater.
feud was still very much alive heading into 2020, it got erased in January of that year outside a Dallas strip club called V Live. The man at the center of this incident wasn't Mo3 himself. It was his manager, a man named Brandon Rainwater. And the fact that it was the manager matters because it shows how far this thing had spread. This wasn't rapper versus rapper anymore. By 2020, the beef had metastasized to the point where anybody in either man's orbit was apparently considered a valid target. According to the lawsuit Rainwater later filed, here's what happened. He pulled up to V Live one night and was told by security to wait before coming inside. And then, according to his account, things went sideways fast. Rainwater claimed a security guard approached him with a gun in his hand, and standing behind that armed security guard was Yella Beezy himself. Rainwater says he read the situation for exactly what it was and took off running, just turned and ran. But according to the suit, Beezy and his entourage chased him down the street, caught up to him, and beat him so badly that he ended up in the hospital that night with a dislocated hip. A dislocated hip, man, I need you to appreciate what kind of beating that is. That's not a scuffle. That's not a shove and a couple wild punches outside the club. A dislocated hip is the kind of injury that comes from being stomped out on concrete. Rainwater ended up needing physical therapy for a long time afterward just to walk right. And here's the wild part. There's footage. Surveillance video from across the street surfaced online showing the incident. A man being chased down by a group of 3 or 4 men, caught in the middle of the street while cars are literally driving past and around the beating, and then left on the ground on his knees, trying to slowly gather himself as the group walks back toward the club. Now, to be completely fair to Beezy's side, and I always want to be fair, Beezy himself cannot be clearly identified in that footage. It's grainy, it's shot from a distance, it's nighttime, you can see a beating, you cannot see faces. But the chase and the assault themselves, that's on tape. And Rainwater's lawsuit even claimed that afterward, the group returned to the club parking lot and was seen on video bragging about what they just done. Rainwater sued Yella Beezy for assault, and he sued V Live for inadequate security, seeking up to $1 million in damages, with that surveillance footage as the backbone of his case. And I'll tell you something that made this whole situation even messier, and honestly, kind of darkly funny. Mo3's reaction. You'd expect Mo3 to be furious, right? His manager just got hospitalized. Instead, Mo3 got on Instagram Live and basically clowned the entire situation. But not in the direction you think. He downplayed the beating itself. He said his manager didn't really take a beating, that the man didn't have a scratch on him, that, quote, his lip wasn't even busted. Which, when you think about it, is such a perfectly Mo3 response. Even when his own camp got caught and touched, his competitive instinct was to deny that the other side ever scored a point. He couldn't even let Beezy have the win of a successful beatdown. That's how deep the pettiness in this feud ran. They were arguing over the quality of an assault. But strip away the jokes and the Instagram theatrics and look at what this incident actually represents on the timeline. This is January 2020. This is Yella Beezy's camp, allegedly with Beezy personally present and watching, physically attacking a member of Mo3's inner circle in public, on camera, in the middle of a street. The feud that both men had sworn on camera didn't exist was now generating lawsuits, hospital visits, and viral surveillance footage. The temperature was rising with every month, and Mo3 at that moment had roughly 10 months left to live. Okay, deep breath, because this is the hardest part of the story to tell, and I want to make sure I do it right. Because a man lost his life here, and that deserves to be handled with respect. It's Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. It's around noon, broad daylight, lunchtime, in the middle of an ordinary workday, and Mo3 is driving north on Interstate 35 East in South Dallas, near the Dallas Zoo in the stretch between Illinois Avenue and Clarendon Drive. If you know Dallas, you know this is one of the busiest corridors in the entire state of Texas. Cars everywhere. 18-wheelers everywhere, witnesses in every direction, and somewhere in that traffic behind him is a black Chevrolet Camaro near Clarendon Drive. Both vehicles come to a stop on the highway, and then the door of that Camaro opens, and a man steps out wearing a ski mask with a firearm in his hand on a packed interstate at noon in front of everyone. Mo3 sees it happening, and he does the only thing he can do. He gets out of his own car and runs on foot down the middle of Interstate 35 weaving between stopped and moving vehicles, running for his life in front of dozens of strangers who had no idea they were about to witness a murder. And the gunman chases him. I need to emphasize this part because it's central to everything that comes later. This was not a drive-by. This was not someone spraying from a window and speeding off. This man stopped his car on a major interstate, got out on foot, and pursued Mo3 down the highway. Investigators and prosecutors will later describe it as a calculated, targeted attack because random shooters do not park on I-35 at noon and give chase on foot. That behavior says one thing. This man was there for Mo3 specifically, and he was not leaving until the job was done. The gunman caught up to him. Mo3 was shot multiple times, including, according to reports, a shot to the back of the head as he fled. And in a detail that shows just how reckless this was, an innocent bystander, a completely random driver who had absolutely nothing to do with rap, Dallas beef, or any of this, was also struck in the shooting. Thankfully, that person survived. Mo3 was rushed to a nearby hospital, and that is where Melvin Noble was pronounced dead. He was 28 years old. He left behind young children. He left behind his mother, Nicole. He left behind a city that genuinely deeply loved him and a career that was just finally breaking through nationally. And here's the detail that made this a national story within hours instead of days. It was all on camera. Traffic cameras captured the incident. Dashcam footage existed, including, as we would learn much later through court proceedings, surveillance footage recovered from 18-wheelers that happened to be rolling down that stretch of highway at that exact moment. Cameras that caught pieces of the chase from angles nobody even knew existed. Video of the shooting circulated online almost immediately. Millions of people watched the rapper's final moments. A man running for his life down a Dallas freeway in the middle of the day. I'm not going to show that footage in this video, out of respect, but I'm telling you it exists because it becomes crucial evidence later. The reaction was enormous, and I want to spend a minute on it because the way a city grieves tells you what a person actually meant to it. Boosie, who loved Mo3 like a little brother, was absolutely devastated. Remember, this wasn't an industry relationship. Boosie had personally pulled Mo3 up, done a whole album with him, brought him on the road, treated him like family. And Boosie doesn't hide his emotions from anybody. He posted tribute after tribute. He spoke on Mo3 in interview after interview. And in the years since, he has never stopped saying Mo3's name, pushing his music, keeping his memory in the conversation, making sure the world didn't just move on to the next headline. There's something genuinely heartbreaking about the fact that the man who believed in Mo3 first ended up being the one carrying his flag after
you got the shit snatched.
The Dallas scene went into full mourning. Murals of Mo3's face went up around Oak Cliff, and they're still there today, painted on walls in the same neighborhood that raised him.
3 is
Vigils
not
were
the
held,
fucking cliff,
candles,
from
balloons, crowds of fans at the spot near
bro.
the highway. His streaming numbers exploded
fucking
overnight
cliff,
as the rest of the country discovered his catalog through the worst possible headline. Millions of people hearing songs like Everybody for the first time and realizing what they've been sleeping on. And then came the posthumous era. His team released the album Shot Us for EVA after his death, and it debuted higher on the charts than anything he ever released while he was alive. Then came Broken Love with Kevin Gates. And in one of the cruelest ironies in recent music history, that record became the biggest hit of Mo3's entire career. It went certified platinum. It got radio play across the country. The man spent his whole life fighting, clawing, grinding for a national breakthrough. And it finally arrived when he wasn't here to see a single second of it. His kids will grow up knowing their father's biggest song came out after he was taken from them. If that doesn't sit heavy on you, I don't know what will.
He did that song
And underneath all of that grief, one question sat on absolutely everyone's mind. And I mean everyone. Every comment section, every Dallas barbershop, every hip-hop blog and podcast, the same name kept coming up over and over. Because when a rapper is executed in broad daylight in the middle of a years-long feud, the city does not wait for a police report to form its opinion. Fans had already reached their verdict by sundown. But here's the thing, and this is the tension that defines the next 5 years of the story. Suspicion is not evidence. What the streets know and what a prosecutor can prove are two entirely different things. And the answer to the question of who was actually behind that black Camaro would only come out slowly, piece by piece, over 4.5 long years. So how do you solve a murder like this? A mass gunman, a chaotic scene on a highway, a car that disappears into Dallas traffic within seconds? The answer, like it is in so many modern cases, came down to Two things: cameras and cell phones. Because here's the reality of committing a crime in 2020: you might wear a mask, but your phone doesn't. Within weeks, Dallas police had zeroed in on a suspect, a 22-year-old named Keywan Dontrell White. And the case they built against him, laid out in arrest affidavits, was built almost entirely on digital breadcrumbs. Cell phone data allegedly placed White near the apartment where Mo3 had stayed the night before the murder. Sit with that detail for a second, because it's arguably the most damning single fact in the entire investigation. Not the same city, not the same side of town, near the apartment where Mo3 slept the night before he died. If that data holds up, it means whoever was carrying that phone knew where Mo3 was staying, which means Mo3 wasn't spotted randomly on a highway. He was watched. He was tracked from the moment he woke up. And then that same phone data allegedly showed White's phone following a path along the same route Mo3 traveled in the time before he was shot, essentially shadowing the victim's movements right up to the moment of the murder. On top of the digital evidence, the arrest affidavit stated that witnesses from the scene identified White as the gunman. White was arrested about a month after the murder in December 2020, and a grand jury indicted him for murder in February 2020. But investigators didn't stop with the alleged triggerman, because the phone records pointed them to a second name, a man called Devin Maurice Brown. Phone records allegedly showed numerous calls between Brown and White on the day before the shooting and on the day of the shooting itself. A flurry of communication surrounding the exact window of the murder. And when officers executed a search of Brown's home after the shooting, what they found opened up an entirely separate universe of legal problems for him. A stolen AK-47, synthetic cannabinoids, a bottle of pills that tested positive for meth, multiple scales, baggies, and over $3,200 in cash. Brown was hit with federal gun and drug charges on top of eventually being indicted in connection with the murder itself. And here's a truly bizarre wrinkle that had everybody confused for a minute. Reports came out that Brown had allegedly admitted he was upset over a woman he was dating. That detail sent people spiraling for a while, with some wondering if maybe this whole murder wasn't about the rap feud at all, but about something personal involving Brown. It's one of those loose threads in this case that's never been fully publicly explained, and you better believe the defense knows it exists. Now, here's a detail that a lot of people get confused about, so let me clear it up properly. Keywan White, the alleged shooter, has actually been sitting in federal prison for years now, but not for the murder. In November 2022, White was sentenced to 105 months, that's about 9 years, on a federal gun charge. The state's murder case against him is a completely separate track, and is still pending, still unresolved, still headed toward its own trial. So when you hear people online say the shooter's been locked up for years, that's technically true, but it's misleading. He has not been convicted of killing Mo3. As of right now, nobody has been convicted of killing Mo3. Not White, not Brown, not anyone. That's worth remembering every time you see this case discussed like it's already settled. And for years, literally years, that's where the case publicly sat. Two alleged foot soldiers charged in fighting their cases, the footage analyzed, the phones mapped, and one enormous unanswered question hanging over the entire city of Dallas like a storm cloud. If this was a hit and everything about the execution of it screamed hit, then who ordered it? Who paid for it? Because 22-year-olds don't typically stalk and execute a rising rap star on a busy interstate at noon for personal reasons. Somebody wanted Mo3 dead. The streets had a theory about who. They'd had the same theory since the day it happened. And I want to take a second to talk about what those in between years, 2021, 2022, 2024, were actually like, because this part of the story never makes it into the headlines, but it's fascinating because during that entire stretch, Yella Beezy was a free man. He hadn't been charged with anything related to Mo3, and so he did what any working artist would do. He kept living. He kept dropping music. He kept doing shows, kept doing interviews, kept posting. But here's the thing. He was doing all of it under a cloud of public suspicion that never ever lifted. Go look at literally any Yella Beezy post from those years, any music video, any Instagram photo, any interview clip, and scroll the comments. It's the same thing over and over, thousands of times. Mo3's name, accusations. People flat out calling him a murderer with zero charges filed and zero evidence public. For more than 4 years, this man was tried and convicted in every comment section on the internet, while the actual justice system said nothing. And I have to be honest about how uncomfortable that period was, no matter which side of this you're on. If Beezy is guilty, then those years represent a man performing on stages and collecting checks while his rival's mother waited for answers. But if Beezy is innocent, and again, that's what the law presumes right now, then those years represent something almost as dark. An innocent man watching his name get destroyed daily, unable to defend himself against an accusation nobody had officially made, losing bookings and business relationships to a rumor. Either way, the whole city was stuck in this bizarre limbo. Mo3's fans wanted an arrest. Beezy's fans wanted his name cleared. The police said almost nothing publicly about where the investigation stood. And in that silence, the speculation just grew and grew, year after year, until it felt like Dallas was holding its breath permanently. Meanwhile, Beezy picked up that unrelated 2021 arrest I mentioned earlier, which only poured gasoline on a public perception problem, even though those charges had nothing to do with Mo3. By 2024, honestly, a lot of people had concluded that the other shoe was simply never going to drop, that whoever ordered the hit, if anyone did, had gotten away with it. They were wrong, because on March 20th, 2025, 4 years, 4 months, and 9 days after Mo3 died, the street's oldest theory became an official indictment. On Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, a Dallas County grand jury returned an indictment that sent a shockwave through the entire hip-hop world. The charge: capital murder while remuneration. And if you're not familiar with Texas law, let me translate that for you, because the wording matters. While remuneration means the murder involved payment, money changing hands. In plain English, murder for hire. It is the single most serious homicide charge that exists in the state of Texas. And if you're convicted of it, there are exactly 2 possible punishments: life in prison without the possibility of parole, or the death penalty. That's it. There is no third option, no plea down sentence, no 15 years with parole. Texas does not play about capital murder. The man named in that indictment was Marquis DeAndre Conway, Yella Beezy. 2 days later, on Thursday, March 20th, 2025, Beezy was arrested and booked into the Dallas County Jail, held on a $2 million bond. The indictment laid out the state's theory in black and white legal language, that Conway hired Q1 White to murder Melvin Noble, and that, quote, pursuant to said agreement, Q1 White did then and there intentionally and knowingly cause the death of Noble by shooting him with a firearm, end quote. And a separate indictment filed around the same time went even further, alleging that Devin Brown was also paid to kill Mo3, and that the person behind the payout was again Yella Beezy. So the state's full theory came into focus. Beezy at the top, allegedly financing the operation, while White and Brown allegedly handling the execution. Think about the magnitude of this for a second, because I don't think people outside of Dallas fully processed it. This is not some anonymous street figure being accused. This is an artist with Billboard hits, an artist who opened stadium shows for Beyonce and Jay-Z, an artist who, at his peak, was the single biggest commercial export Dallas rap had ever produced, being formally accused by the state of Texas of financing the assassination of his rival. Mo3's mother, Nicole Noble, posted on Facebook within hours of the arrest, and her message was 4 words long: justice for my baby. Meanwhile, Beezy's supporters, and understand he still has a lot of them, especially in Dallas, immediately started asking the question his defense would soon be asking in court. It's been almost 5 years. 5 years. If the evidence was really there, why did it take this long to charge him? That's a fair question, honestly. And the answer probably lies in how long it takes to build a murder for hire case, which is one of the hardest cases in all of criminal law to prove, because you're not proving who pulled the trigger. You're proving what was in the mind and in the bank account of a man who was nowhere near the scene. About a week later, at Beezy's bond hearing, we got our first real public look at the state's case. And this hearing was dramatic all on its own. Prosecutors played the shooting video in open court, the footage of the masked man exiting the black Camaro and pursuing Mo3. They entered new arrest affidavits for the co-defendants into the record, and most importantly, they asked the court to allow a witness to testify that Yella Beezy was one of the key people who allegedly supplied the money to Q1 White to carry out the hit on Mo3. That was the moment the state showed its hand. They're not just relying on circumstantial connections. They claim to have a human being willing to say under oath that Beezy funded this. But here's what's fascinating. That hearing arguably ended as a win for the defense. Judge Gracie Lewis reduced Beezy's bond from $2 million all the way down to $750,000. Beezy's attorneys, Toby Shock and John Gussio, walked out of that courtroom saying they were, quote, gratified by the reduction, and they pointedly cited what they described as a lack of evidence against their client. Beezy posted the bond and walked out of Dallas County Jail the next morning, released the house arrest with an ankle monitor. And I think that bond reduction tells you something genuinely important about this case, so let me put it in perspective. This is a capital murder for hire charge, the most serious accusation Texas can level at a human being. And the judge listened to the state's presentation and decided this defendant could await trial at home. Now, let me be crystal clear. Bond decisions are not verdicts. Judges weigh flight risk and danger to the community, not guilt or innocence, and plenty of people who got reasonable bonds were later convicted. But it does suggest that this is not some overwhelming open and shut slam dunk case where the evidence screams from every direction. This is going to be a genuine fight, and both sides know it. So let's break down what we know about the prosecution's case, piece by piece. And for every piece, I'm going to give you the defense's likely counter too, because that's the only honest way to look at a case that hasn't been tried yet. This is where the trial is going to be won or lost. Piece number one, the money. This is probably the state's most concrete piece of alleged evidence against Beezy specifically. According to reporting on the case, prosecutors claim that financial records show Conway withdrew $40,000 in cash within a few days of the killing. 40 grand in cash, right around the time his longtime rival gets murdered in what looks exactly like a paid professional hit. You can absolutely see why prosecutors are building around this. Juries understand money, and the timing is ugly. But here's the defense's obvious and honestly pretty strong counter. Yella Beezy is a wealthy, successful recording artist. Rappers move large amounts of cash constantly and legitimately, show deposits, jewelry purchases, cars, studio time, payroll for a whole entourage, just lifestyle. But cash withdrawal by itself is not a murder payment. It's a withdrawal. The entire weight of this evidence depends on one thing. Can the state trace where that money went? If prosecutors can show that cash or any portion of it flowing toward Keywan White or Devin Brown through a handoff, a deposit, a purchase, anything, that's absolutely devastating, potentially case ending. If they can't connect it, then it's just a rich man taking out his own money, and the defense will hammer that distinction relentlessly. Piece number two, the phone records. Reports indicate that phone records allegedly support the state's claim connecting Beezy to the plot. This is on top of the records that already tied White to Mo3's movements and tied White and Brown to each other. Now the digital trail on White is reportedly strong. His phone near Mo3's overnight location, his phone shadowing Mo3's route to the scene. That's the kind of evidence that convicts shooters. The critical question for this trial is entirely different. How strong is the digital trail to Beezy himself? Is there direct contact between Beezy and the alleged shooters in the window around the murder? Or is it contact through layers of intermediaries, which is exactly what you'd expect in a real murder for hire, but which is also much easier for a defense to explain away as ordinary association? People from the same neighborhood call each other. That's not a crime. The specifics of these records, who called whom, when, and how those calls line up against the timeline of the murder might be the single most important factual battleground of the entire trial. And frustratingly, we won't see the full picture until it plays out in court. Piece number three, the witness. The state has indicated it has at least one witness prepared to testify that Beezy was among those who supplied money for the hit. Understand something. This could be the entire case right here. Murder for hire almost always lives or dies on insider testimony, because the person who orders a hit doesn't leave a contract lying around. Somebody in the room has to talk. But this kind of witness is also historically the biggest weakness in cases like this, because you have to ask the questions the jury will be asking. Who is this person? How do they know what they claim to know? Do they have pending charges of their own? Were they offered a deal, a sentence reduction, immunity? Do they have any personal history with Beezy that gives them a reason to lie? Cooperating witnesses in murder cases very often come with baggage. That's just reality. And defense attorneys are trained to turn that baggage into reasonable doubt. When this witness takes the stand, watch the cross-examination. That might be the moment this whole case tips one way or the other. Piece number four, the footage. The state has an absolutely enormous amount of video evidence. The traffic cameras, and as came out in later proceedings, surveillance footage recovered from 18-wheelers that were on the highway during the chase. In fact, the volume of evidence is so massive that Beezy's own lawyers have stood up in court and complained about it. arguing that the mountain of material the state turned over has made it nearly impossible for the defense to get through everything in time to properly prepare, which is a wild dynamic when you think about it. The defense's complaint isn't that there's no evidence, it's that there's too much of it to even review. But here's the crucial thing to understand about all that footage. It proves the murder happened, and it proves how it happened. It shows a masked man, a black Camaro, a chase, a shooting. What it does not show, what nobody claims it shows, is Yella Beezy. He was not on that highway, and the state doesn't say he was. The video convicts the shooter if it convicts anyone. Tying the shooter to Beezy requires every other piece we just talked about. The footage is the foundation of the case, but it is not the case against Beezy. And that's really the heart of what's coming in this trial. The state's theory is a chain with 5 links. A documented feud provides the motive, the money provides the means, the phones provides the connection, the witness provides the agreement, and White provides the trigger. For a capital conviction, every single link has to hold up beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense doesn't need to explain the murder, doesn't need to name an alternative suspect, doesn't need to prove anything at all. They need to break one link. One. That's the whole game. Now let's talk about where this case actually stands today, because the road to trial has been a war of its own, and if you've seen conflicting dates floating around online, this is where I clear all of that up. Beezy spent 2025 on house arrest with electronic monitoring after posting that $750,000 bond. And during that stretch, his attorney John Gushio filed one of the more surreal motions you'll ever read, a request for limited work release, arguing that Beezy's music career was actively suffering under the terms of his bond. Gushio wrote, quote, "Given the lack of violations and the condition that he maintained an ankle monitor, continued protection of the community is assured," end quote. Just absorb the reality of that sentence for a second. A man accused of financing an assassination, formally asking a court to let him leave the house to go do shows and studio sessions. And honestly, that's been the strange dual reality of Yella Beezy's entire life since March 2025. A chart and recording artist by profession, a capital murder defendant by legal status, trying to live both lives at once from inside an ankle monitor. The trial was originally scheduled to begin on February 2nd, 2026 in Dallas County. Pre-trial hearings were rolling through late 2025 and January 2026, and everything was on track for a February showdown. But then, in mid-January 2026, right in the middle of the final pre-trial push, tragedy hit Beezy's family. His mother passed away. He missed a scheduled pre-trial hearing in the days after her death. His lawyers confirmed the passing, and out of the disruption, the schedule collapsed. The trial was pushed back, and as of right now, as I record this, here is the official status. The jury trial is set for August 24th, 2026, with final pretrial hearings scheduled for July 24th and August 21st. So when you see headlines or comments saying Beezy is on trial right now, here's the accurate version. He is in the final pretrial phase of a capital murder case, with jury selection just weeks away. The war before the war. And that pretrial war has produced what I think is the single most fascinating and controversial issue in this entire case. The state of Texas wants to use Yella Beezy's rap lyrics against him as evidence. Prosecutors have formally moved to admit 4 specific Yella Beezy tracks into the trial. Keep It in the Streets, On Your Head, Take 3, and Gassed Up, arguing that the lyrics in those songs are connected to the feud that ended in Mo3's death. The state's broader argument ties everything back to the beginning of this video. They say this rivalry can be traced to 2017, when Roy Pay publicly questioned whether Conway was really from Dallas. And they argue that Beezy's own music documents the escalation of the feud in his own words. Essentially, that his catalog is a confession set to a beat, and the state hasn't stopped their lyrics. Prosecutors have also sought to introduce evidence about Beezy's alleged gang ties, specifically alleged connections to the Crips and to a group called the Get Rich Cartel, along with his history of prior arrests, all of it offered to support the murder for hire theory. And for the record, Beezy does have priors, including a 2021 arrest on unrelated charges involving unlawful firearm possession and a sexual assault allegation from a completely separate incident. The defense will fight to keep every bit of that away from the jury because they know exactly what it's designed to do. Paint a picture of the kind of man who would order a hit. The defense has been fighting all of this tooth and nail. At a hearing in early March 2026, Judge Chika Anyam heard arguments on the defense's omnibus pretrial motion, the big package of everything they want excluded, including the fight over those 4 songs. And notably, the judge did not rule right away. She said she wanted to review the defense's exhibits and the state's written response before deciding, which means, as of right now, the single question that might decide this whole trial, does the jury get to hear Yella Beezy's music as evidence against him, is still sitting on the judge's desk. And it's worth mentioning that the exact same battle is raging in Keywan White's parallel case, where his attorney has pushed back hard against gang-related evidence, while prosecutors actually got court permission to photograph White's tattoos because they claim certain face and arm tattoos prove gang membership. That's how granular this fight has gotten. They are litigating ink. Now, let me give you my honest opinion on the lyrics issue, because this is bigger than just this one case. And I think it's genuinely one of the most important debates in hip-hop right now. Using rap lyrics as criminal evidence is one of the most hotly contested practices in the entire American justice system. It's the same fight that sat at the center of the YSL case in Atlanta, where prosecutors built part of a massive racketeering case around Young Thug's music. And the argument against the practice is simple and I think pretty powerful. Rap is art. Rap is persona, exaggeration, character work. Johnny Cash sang about shooting a man in Reno just to watch him die, and nobody ever dragged him into a courtroom over it. Stephen King writes murders for a living and sleeps fine. If violent lyrics count as evidence of violence, then half of hip-hop, an art form built by black artists narrating harsh realities, is permanently one indictment away from having its catalog weaponized. Critics also point out that this tactic gets used against rappers in a way it simply never gets used against any other genre or art form. And some states have even started passing laws restricting the practice for exactly that reason. And I have to present the other side fairly. The state's argument here is narrower than violent rap equals guilt. Prosecutors aren't claiming that rapping about violence in general proves anything. They're claiming that these 4 specific songs reference this specific real-world feud, the same feud that produced a real assault, a real dead comedian, a real tollway shooting, a real lawsuit, and a real murder. Their position is that when your music describes your actual documented conflict with an actual person who actually ended up dead, that stops being pure art and starts being relevant evidence. Whether Judge Anyam buys that distinction, whether she lets some songs in, all of them or none, may genuinely shape the outcome of this trial, because a jury that spends an afternoon listening to menacing lyrics is a different jury than one that never hears a single bar. Keep your eye on that ruling. I know I will be. One more loose end you should be tracking as this heads to trial, the co-defendants. Devin Brown's case has been moving along its own separate track with its own trial timeline, and Keywan White's state murder case is still pending too, with its own delays. At one point, his trial got pushed because both sides admitted they couldn't even get through all the evidence in time. Why does any of that matter for Beezy? Because in murder-for-hire prosecutions, the state's dream scenario is always the same. Get somebody lower on the chain to flip. If either White or Brown ever decides to take a deal and testify about who, if anyone, paid them, this case
That bitch almost over. Look at that boy Triller, because Triller think Yella Beezy finna get off. He just made a video the other day. Hold on.
They trying to spook him in.
He think Yella finna get off, man. Shout out to that boy Triller.
Say it again. We don't love niggas. This episode today is about Yella Beezy, Little Dirk, the serial killers, the misters. I want to put the money on the motherfucking rapper heads and all that old goofy shit. It's getting real serious. But Yella Beezy's gonna beat his case, and I'm about to tell y'all why. Y'all know it is running.
Hit me. Fuck with Triller content. Triller wrong about this shit.
Alright, y'all know it's
my mama.
boy Triller Too Legit, and we are live. We're experimenting with the show. We're doing a whole bunch of new Yella Beezy is going to beat his case. And y'all are a lot of y'all don't believe that he's gonna beat his case. But you know, I know the law. A lot of y'all think that I'm just capped, but the reason why Yella Beezy is gonna beat his case is because number one, it's not his work. I've got down
Pay
to the
for it,
bottom
though.
of it. It's not his work. Yella Beezy
Pay
sitting in
for it,
front of
though.
that judge like this.
Bodega was in the car with that nigga while he
Yella
did,
Beezy
he put the shit in
don't
play.
want to tell on somebody because he can't tell on somebody because he got to uphold to the street culture and the street literature, and he's willing to go to prison for life. We don't condone snitching at True Legit Industries, but what we don't believe in is a mother sending me to jail on some goofy shit. If a nigga got me sitting in a motherfucking jail cell behind you being afraid to fight this individual, especially Mo3. Mo3 was like 5'1", 195 pounds, fat, chubby, with tits. No disrespect, RIP to the dead. Mo3 just wanted to fight. He whooped somebody. A video just came out. Mo3 on top of him. Bang, bang, boom, bang, bing, bang. All y'all had to do was fight, and people wouldn't have lost their lives. People wouldn't have got shot. It wouldn't be no R.I.P. Bubba. It wouldn't be no R.I.P. Roy Lee. It wouldn't be no R.I.P. Yella Beezy's home. It was all could have been avoided if it would have got out there. But let me tell you how Yella Beezy's gonna beat his charge. The state don't have no. State trying to spook Yella Beezy. They're trying to spook him into copping out. This is what Texas does. And this is how you know they don't have nothing. If they had something, they would have punched the gas on him. They would have mashed the gas and took him to trial quickly. First, it was Keywan White. But now that y'all see that Keywan White is not the rat, now what y'all got to say about it? Allegedly, there's like 70, 80 new witnesses on top of 140 witnesses. Let me tell y'all the trick on that. The trick to that is there might be 2 or 3 snitches or whatever, and you got 140 people to protect those people. You don't know who to go to. But I know whose name I saw on there. The little short dude with the shag, Trap Boy Freddy. But y'all say I'm just capping. They say I'm just capping. No. Look. Let's get back this way, man. We get back in the light. Trap Boy Freddy's name is on there. How does your name appear on the witness list? What did J-Dog say? Should have been a suspect, now his ass a victim. Yeah. Looking like him yellow tape. That's the way we play. First 48. How is your name on as a witness, man? What they on, man? And then you ain't even popped out and said nothing. Imagine your partner on the stand for an M that you might be involved in. Ring it. Hey, Trap Boy Freddy, you the baddest man in the motherfucking land. You one of the boy. If you was a magician, boy, I'll come to your motherfucking show. Because, boy, I ain't never seen an individual trick his own homie off the blacktop. How your name not even brought up? How is Keywan White and them, the lawyer, trying to get your confessions or your statements suppressed or brought to the light? You should have never made a statement. If you made a statement, that means you did not implicate yourself and Yella Beezy was implicated. Let me tell y'all this. Only one person can prove this case. The person that received money from Yella Beezy. Only person. The shooter that hopped out on the freeway was masked up and clothed up. You can't prove that Keywan White or John Doe was the shooter. That's cap. Somebody else has to get on there. And out of those 70 witnesses plus, those are all regular people that just want to say that they seen this or seen that. Can't nobody attest to Yella Beezy paying money or Keywan White or anybody else receiving money for the murder of Lil Melvin. Trap Boy Freddy might be the only person that can attest to these things. What information do they have? What are you going to say when you get on that stand, Trap Boy Freddy? Are you going to plead the fifth? Did y'all know that in federal probation, the thing that Trap Boy Freddy is more than likely still on, they have to come to your probation officer to ask permission in order for you to testify. That means he has to be willingly cooperating. They won't bring you to testify if you don't want to testify. As soon as you get on the stand, you can say, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. They cannot hold you into contempt of court. You have the right to plead the fifth repeatedly, and in open court because you refuse to cooperate. You can also take a perjury charge or whatever they want, whatever, contempt of court by not even showing up. But y'all don't think that I know what I'm talking about. Y'all want to do is talk about paperwork. Paperwork? What the? Right now, if I get pulled over by the police, I can say, hey, man, Slim Thug and them got 40 keys under the bed. I could be lying or telling the truth. I told, and it's not going to be in paperwork. Those people are going to start investigating Slim Thug, and they're going to hit and strike their man when they strike their man. No paperwork involved. For y'all that have not been to the feds are a whole different ball game. When Trap Boy Freddy was in that house with fentanyl, guns, and other drugs, the police have the right to split the drugs in two and give this here and give that here. The gun goes to one of them. Holla if you hear me. That's supposed to be a fed case. The other guy went fed too. How did he not go fed? They also charge you for money laundering in the feds. Holla if you hear that. They charge you for money laundering. Why you didn't get charged with money laundering? It was over 27,000.
Well, with the people, bro.
Your raps cannot equate to that. You don't even have no rap sales. But this is what they do in the city. If one of these rappers out of Houston was to tell, these rat asses is going to cover up for them. Just like in Dallas. Trap Boy Freddy, everybody named mama in the city knows, besides your day ones, you have told on everybody. Nobody really ever gets a 5-year run, especially the loud and the cocky, the ones that are out there. They never get a 5-year run. If you look at it, Big Meech didn't get a 5-year run. Look at the numbers. You don't get a 5-year run in this game. The most I've ever seen is 5 years. These other people that have made it all these years selling dope and they got the real bricks, they told. Remember, I told you that they told. They don't have to be in paperwork. They can tip from the jump.
They told it on the bed.
There's FBI handlers that'll pull up and ask all these, man, boy, it's so many levels to the game. Y'all got to find out. Trap Boy Freddy, your name is on that witness testimonial list. How did it get there? The only reason why they're saying that there's 70 more witnesses is because they're trying to hide and smoke Yella Beezy out of the hole. Yella Beezy is not going to prison. They're not going to find him guilty because they cannot find any type of bank transactions that's kept. They cannot find.
Detective Bourne said they got.
It's easy for somebody to be in Yella Beezy's circle, knowing that he went to the bank to get 40,000 or whatever the denomination is, knowing that he just went and got that out, knowing they could drop a dime and say this and say that. This is a rapper. He can go get $40,000 at the bank anytime he wants. Now, Dallas, Texas has had Buddy Boy on house arrest for an entire year and some change, right? Y'all have dampened this man's income. Y'all have drained his income. What does that make a person resort to? It makes them resort to normal operations. This is what y'all choose to put together and make our black people go through. The smoke is not clear once he beats this case. There's going to be a RICO in Dallas, and I believe that Yella Beezy and Trap Boy Freddy are going to be there. Hopefully, hopefully Yella Beezy doesn't get caught up in this RICO, because I'm going to teach y'all some game. Give y'all some game, fed game. Person A can have signed for 25 years in the state and be doing 25 years 8 years ago. And then the homies get indicted 8 years later on a whole nother charge. And somebody in that gang points everybody out and say person A had a body, person B had a body, and person C was paying for it. They're going to go bring him back from the state prison and put him in the feds. They're going to give him a chance to cooperate because he is over the bodies. They give the person that shot somebody a chance to tell, and they give a person that paid for the money a chance to tell. First one that tells wins. First person that motherfucking tells wins. That's the ring it. So whoever wants to put some motherfucking money on their head, Whoever wants to put money on somebody's head, I suggest you don't do it nowadays. I suggest you just rap. Just be a rapper. What if Yella Beezy would have just been a rapper? The feds only come when the bodies drop. The feds will let you sell as many keys as you want. They don't care as long as you're paying taxes. If you dress up in a suit and tie and go to the police lodge and donate money, shake hands and kiss babies, the police are going to turn a blind eye every time. It's only going to cost you $50,000 a year. You make $50,000 in 2 weeks, man. Maybe more. Let me give y'all some game. How you want to be a multi-millionaire successful drug dealer, you have to shake hands and kiss babies. Find you a politician and donate to his campaign. $50,000. I bet you never see the inside of a jail cell. How do you think Jay Prince keep missing these things? Boy. How you think he survived all these years? Mr. Sylvester Turner. And there's nothing wrong with that. The white people have been playing this game for years. The mob, the Italian mob, they've been rats. The Mexican cartels, they've been rats, but they pay hands. They grease it. Everybody gets paid before you get paid. That's how it's supposed to go. Al Capone had police officers on his payroll. They allowed shooters to get away. They botched interviews. They botched investigations. But y'all don't want to hit the hands. Y'all just want to skip over shit. Y'all get this rap little checks and y'all start thinking y'all are hitmen. Y'all start thinking y'all are mob bosses. Everybody want to rap about a stick, but you ain't talking about nothing. I bet y'all rappers regret it now. I bet you Lil Durk regret releasing don't respond to shit for born. You seeing locations, I'm getting it done. I bet you wish that you never rapped that a day in your motherfucking life. Ring it. Yella Beezy, I bet you wish you never would have went on Tim Westwood and did that stupid ass flow. If a nigga play me, I'ma put some money on a nigga head. I bet you wish you didn't do it. Trap Boy Freddy, I bet you didn't wish you was trolling that boy. Because guess what? Now the streets gotta know. Do the robot, y'all. Now the streets want to know. Dallas, Texas want to know. How are you or Earl Spence not up on that mother stand? Praise the Lord.
I'm gonna go look at Ratchet shit. Man, shout out to Ratchet. I know he did drop some shit today. That shit. There you go. Shit.
Let's chop it up. Because niggas like, you been picked a side. You know what I'm saying? You picked. I'm like, nah, I just covered the case. You know what I'm saying? My side is justice. It has nothing to do with me just being a Mo3 fan, because let's just keep it a buck. I'm not a Mo3 fan. Everybody in the chat knows that. I'm not a Mo3 fan. I fuck with Mo3 and I fuck with the content that he brought, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like, was I a fan of his before he died? Nah, I wasn't. I was never a Mo3 fan. But this story just, I think it captured everybody's hearts, just seeing like what a street war, senseless violence to get you in the street. Not saying Mo3 was an angel, not saying Mo3 was innocent of a lot of shit, but the way that they did it and the way that they did him, nah, bro. And especially when it didn't have to be. It could have ended a long time ago. We didn't have to be here today, but unfortunately we are. We didn't have to, but unfortunately we are. And I think that this was just the last body to drop that we're just like, bro, this got to stop. We got to clean this mess up. We got to. Whether you want to call it snitching, doing police work, well, if it was your child and you was in Miss Nicole's position, no matter what your child has done, I'm speaking for every mother and father in this room. If it was your child, no matter who your child grew up to be, would you feel just like Miss Nicole and want justice for your kid, or would you just be like, man, it was some street shit. He shouldn't have been out there. It was what it was. He wasn't innocent. What would you say if it was your son or daughter that got caught up in the streets, whether they was in the streets or out of the streets? I mean, does it matter if they was a gangster and they had did some shit? Would you still want them? All right, will you deserve it, or would you be like, nah, that's my kid. I want to. Fuck that. Whoever took out my baby, I want that person. Not as far as I'm gonna do nothing to him, but justice is coming. I'm there every step of the motherfucking way. Every step of the way. So how do y'all feel about it? Let me know in the chat. If your child was in the streets, let's just say your child was a demon, was a King Von, or what they said Mo3 was, whatever. How would you feel? Would you be like, nah, they was tied up into the streets. They shouldn't have been in the streets, man. They got what they got. Or would you be like, it's still my baby, and whoever took my baby out, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? God was still working on my baby. He wasn't done with him yet, but you brought it to an end. So, I mean, I don't know how you look at it, but the streets is the streets. And I think that everybody in this room can say, look, we might not have done some of the things that King Von or Mo3 did, but man, come on, it was a point in time I was in the streets. I'm saying, I'm pretty sure y'all was in the streets at some point in time. We all was in the streets, you know what I'm saying, doing something. I mean, we all not innocent of everything, you know what I'm saying? I might not have ever killed nobody and no shit like that, but I'm just saying, like, come on, bro, we was all in the streets. We did some shit. We did a lot of things we wasn't proud of in the streets. Everybody in this room, you can't sit up here and say, like, you an angel. Ain't none of us angels, you know what I'm saying? We all a work of God, but God is still working on us. But I think everybody in this room has been tied to the streets at some point. Or ladies, you might have dated a nigga in the streets and you probably helped him get away with some shit knowingly or unknowingly. You done did some shit. Everybody in the chat done did something. You know what I'm saying? We all done been in the streets. If you ever had any foot in the streets at all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know. So unless you was just a straight A student, went to college and had a family and just, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that either. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I bet you know somebody in your family who was in the streets, you know some shit. You done did something. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a buck. So I say all that to say, I'm not in this. I mean, I guess I'm in the middle of the war because I'm covering it, but I'm covering it from both sides. I've spoken about Felton and what happened to him. I kept it a buck on who took out Felton. I ain't gonna get it back up on here and keep saying it. I already didn't put that information out there. Matter of fact, the people who took him out, I told them behind the scenes, I know y'all did it. You might want to stay the fuck up off the internet. At least I was real with them. I hit them up like, hey, bro, y'all keep getting on the internet. I'm just gonna have to air this shit out because y'all giving me no choice. Y'all fucking up my content by the shit y'all doing over here running plays. Now I don't got an issue with you niggas, but y'all in my way right now. And then y'all are doing dumb enough stuff to put a highlight on y'all. It's like, bro, I'm not even going at y'all because of y'all connection to Mo3, but y'all gonna force my hand. You see what I'm saying? But I already put it out there. I can't lie to my audience, and I got to keep it a buck in this whole case. But am I going to drill it? Nah, I'm not going to drill it because, I mean, shout out Miss Nicole. You get what I'm saying? I say a lot without saying shit, but like, come on, bro. The last thing you probably want to do is what you're doing. Then, long story short, the person that I ended up telling y'all stay away from, I warned you. Everybody in the room probably know what I'm talking about, but I ain't saying it. But let's keep it a buck.
Watch this whole thing.
If it wasn't for Miss Nicole, boy, you would have been up out of there. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't
y'all
for
know he talking about it.
I say that
I ain't gonna say no, but I know he talking about.
We figured out some shit on this channel a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? We figured out a lot of stuff, and I've covered it all, and I've spared nobody, but certain people can, like, I won't go as hard. It just depends on the situation, but I definitely put that Felton information out there. I ain't gonna drill it, but if you know, you know. And that's the flag Mo3 was throwing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was wondering about what that flag meant. Salute Gino for that Cash App. I appreciate you, Gino. Salute. I appreciate you.
Back.
My bad, I didn't get a chance to hit you back, but I'll be busy as hell. Excuse me. So let me see where we at on the likes. I haven't even checked my likes. I know it ain't a lot though, because we got 229 likes. We got $0 on the screen. I know you effing lying. I know you effing lying. Nah, they working. They just ain't coming in. But nah, I know you lying. You can double tap that screen and get these likes. So we almost got 700 people in here in the afternoon on a Saturday. We just chilling. But I just didn't want to do no nighttime live for this. I'm like, bro, I'm sick of this. I've been too quiet. Leading up to the trial, I really don't got too much to say.
This case is finna be. Oh, I can't wait till this motherfucker.
Like, leading up into this, I am exactly who the fuck I said I was. I am exactly who I said I was. I lead the way when it comes to this Mo3 case. Nobody was gonna show up to the Mo3 trial. Nobody was gonna show up to the Mo3 trial at any point. Ratchet TV shows up day one. Here comes all the roaches. Here comes all the vultures. They gonna keep coming. But guess what? Every step of the way, I'm gonna show you I am exactly who I said I was. You understand that? Said from around the way. I got that whack. Yep, G Money. Facts. If you know, you know. Yeah, we got everybody coming out the woodworks now that Ratchet TV is at the trial. But then I already know the play. It's intimidation. They think they can scare me away from the trial. Everybody's trying to get next to me and try to figure out a way before this trial to do that. They do not want Ratchet TV covering this trial. They don't want me on this shit. They don't want me there. It's just, I think that they all know my information was right on point. Now, there was a lot of distractions that got thrown in the mix of me figuring a lot of shit out.
This whole thing.
But when you go back to the beginning of the Mo3 case, I said, bro, Rain was lying on him. Lying on who? Andrew Wilkerson? Let's see. Hold on. I want to see about this because he did give me that information.
Fucking Scott, but
hold on.
Right to you, my fault, bro.
Hold on. He must be watching. He's like, hell no, I ain't finna get it. He doing bullshit. That's how I know we on to something. When Rain don't pick up his phone, we getting too close. Come on, drip drop. Yeah, he bullshitting. Yeah, he ignoring my call. He watching. That mean he watching and we getting too damn close. He like, nigga, why the fuck? Why the hell you up there talking like that, man? But anyway, yeah, he did give me that information. I ain't lying. I can prove it too. He definitely gave me that information and said that Andrew Wilkerson is known for getting these guns out of evidence, selling the guns back on the streets.
It's crazy work.
You know what?
Screw me.
Honey Trap, give me Andrew Wilkinson's number. If you in here, Honey Trap, see if you can give me Andrew Wilkinson's number. I'm gonna hit him up my damn self. I'm gonna hit him up my damn. Let me see if I can find his number. Andrew. Andrew Wilkerson, attorney. I see his law office number. Andrew Wilkerson. I see his Instagram. I'm gonna say let's chop it up. I'm gonna hit him up. Let's chop it up. Because I want to speak to him about some of the things that Rainwater is saying about him. And we got a lot of mutual friends, cuz. Oh, him and Young Rowe are friends. Him and Young Rowe are friends. Okay, he knows some people that I know for real. Interesting. He know a few people that I know in this month. You know what I'm saying? He know a few people I know for real, for real. Interesting. We're gonna look into that. We're gonna definitely look into that. All right. I said, doesn't that mean there's a dirty cop in the evidence room? Yes, of course, but we already know there's dirty cops involved in the Mo3 case. We know there's dirty cops, but this dude right here is crooked as fuck, allegedly. And this is the dude who said he ain't snitching. They keeping this shit in the streets, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop.
And look at this from an independent eye and not one that's biased or in bed with some of the players involved. So, you know, we need to keep raising awareness for Nolan Wells and his family. But, you know, one thing I want to say about this case is, first of all, one of the main reasons we didn't put it out there is because we understand that this is a highly two-sided issue. You know, you have Mo3 fans on one side, and you have Yella Beezy and his fans on another side, and you know, both sides are pretty strong, and we didn't want to just, you know, rev that up by throwing our names out there because, number one, we do respect the deceased here, but at the same time, we got to, represent our client. And I want to say this about our client. He's innocent, and we can't wait till we have our day in court to prove his innocence. But this entire case, I'm going to let y'all know, was made up on bullshit. Okay.
How would you know that the entire case was made up on BS when your client, Jerry Lynn Johnson, he ain't got no discovery package on this shit. He ain't got nothing to do with the case as of yet. So how would you know unless you're getting your information from the other lawyers, which I already told y'all, all them lawyers are working together with their clients to try to get everybody off. So how would you know what the case is built up off of unless you was talking to them people who was already going up on trial? So it sounds like all y'all lawyers are running a play like the fuck I said. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like y'all lawyers is running a play. How would you know what the case is built up on?
Okay. And there's a reason why Yella Beezy wasn't arrested until 4 or 5 years later. And this who did what his investigation, it just stems from just a bunch of YouTube Vlad rap videos.
Vlad and rap videos. Interesting. All right, let me get. I got his number. Hold on 1 second, y'all.
Vlad.
I'm finna call this dude.
Maybe YouTube.
See if I can reach him.
Vlad. Nobody really spoke
849
on Vlad shit.
849 97. Let's see if I can get in touch with this dude, man.
You've reached the law office of Andrew Wilkerson. We're so happy you called. Our business hours are Mondays through Thursdays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and also on Fridays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. If you are calling today during our business hours, please press 1. However, if you are calling because you know someone is in jail or you yourself are about to be arrested, please press 2 and someone will be right with you.
Oh, that's it.
Please hold while we connect your call to extension 2.
Oh, shit. Why somebody named Ducky P in the chat?
RP that
my office. This is Andrew. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, Andrew?
I'm all right. What's going on?
Hey, brother, I'd ask you a question. You know a rainwater?
Who is this?
This Ratchet TV.
Yeah. I know a rainwater.
Okay, because he gave me. I gotta ask you about this because this dude is saying you crooked and you some shady lawyer.
Listen to me, G. Listen to me, G. I done already seen your podcast, and if you calling me as a man, I'm gonna tell you this: it's kind of tough for you to be calling me after you already put the information out there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So usually I would think that you probably look at yourself as a journalist. You know what I'm saying? And usually the way that works is you would call me and have this conversation with me before you actually tell the world that that's what's going on. Brandon Rainwater, you would be, how do I say this nicely? You would be a fool to believe him if you asked him what time it was. Okay, that's how uncredible and how much of a liar he is. To say that I'm selling guns,
I think Rain know a lot, bro.
Is a federal.
I think Rain know a lot. He's not going
and to be quite honest, it's defamatory. Now, if you just call me for an answer to that question, let me tell you this vehemently. Fuck no, I'm not selling guns on the street. I would be an idiot to sell guns on the street.
So why
I haven't sold not one gun to anybody.
So why is he saying you got Jackpot James jammed up because you sold him the gun that he shot somebody with?
Because I'm telling you, he's a liar, fam. And I know that you being a journalist, what's a shame, man, is the journalism culture, not even just you, but you don't want to hear me sit here and say that that's not true. Because you ain't gonna get no clicks for that. You see what I'm saying?
No, I want your side of it. I don't need anything to be true.
It ain't true. What I know is
why
that
would?
you
But why
talked to
would I?
Jack
Why
Bobby
would I?
and he ain't had nothing to say about it.
Why would I need that to
You
be?
see what I'm
But I
saying?
know. But before I did the interview, you were calling his phone.
I was not calling his phone. That's a lie too. I was not calling his phone. I haven't talked to Jack Bobby in 3 years. I was not calling his phone. See, you see what I'm saying? Just simple lies like that kind of make it seem more believable, but that ain't even true. I haven't talked to Jackpot. I haven't even called Jackpot. Matter of fact, I don't even call him Jackpot. That ain't even what I call duty. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling you. Like, if you want to be a credible source, bro, you can't be basing it off nobody like fucking Rainwater, bro. Like, I mean, that's a joke. You know what I'm saying? That's just a complete joke. So I haven't answered on my own podcast to those allegations because it's egregious and it's a joke. You see what I'm saying? Man, I ain't got to sell nobody no guns, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, man. I'm an upstanding citizen, fam. You know what I'm saying? That's what I am. But see, Rainwater trying to sell that mixtape, so he going place to place, podcast to podcast. Think about how fucked up. Think about this, bro. Really think about it. If you're from the street, you know, you call Ratchet TV, so really think about this. How fucked up is it that Jackpot then already went to jail for that, and he bringing that shit back to the forefront to the people to take a look at? And Jackpot done went to jail for that shit over with, and he trying to get you to get Jackpot to talk about it. Now, any real street nigga know that it don't go like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The whole shit is fucked up. But like I say, you a journalist, fam. It's cool. If you a journalist, that's what journalists do.
You know a nigga from Dallas.
If you want a short answer to your question, no. I ain't never sold a gun to nobody. Since I had my first gun when I was 17, I ain't never sold a gun to nobody. Nobody, not a cousin, not a brother, not a friend, nothing, nobody, ever. And I'm 17-1, and I'm probably the top and the most fighting criminal defense attorney in this county, maybe on the side of the Mississippi. I don't get niggas sent to jail, bro. All you got to do is do a simple Google research on me, family.
I've already done my research.
I keep people out of jail.
I've done my homework.
I keep people out of jail, bro. I done went to jail during the trial, defending my client, got out the next day and won the trial when my client was facing 25 to life. I don't get people put in jail, bro. I keep people out of jail. That's my calling by the Lord, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, you really playing with that. So to put that out in front of people is defamatory, bro. And if I really wanted to sue everybody that did it, I could, and I can win. But I'm such a real nigga, I don't even want to deal with that. I ain't even gonna deal with it. I'm gonna let y'all just tell y'all little stories. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna stay over here and keep saving people's lives. But the short answer is no. That's your answer.
Well, I appreciate you giving me your answer.
And honestly, bro, after this conversation with me, you take anything that Brandon Rainwater got to say is the truth, bro. It's just clickbait, Sam. But again, that's life. I understand. You in a different field than me. My field is about the truth.
I never took what he said for a fact.
Somebody really did something or not.
I never took what he said for a fact.
You said what?
I never took what he said for a fact. But I put it out there because it was given to me.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, bro.
Shout out to Ryan,
I don't put stuff out there just because it was given to me. I don't got that luxury. You see what I'm saying? I got people's lives on the limb. So, just kind of think about that as you move forward and operate through life, my man. But like I say, I understand. But the short answer is no.
Okay, well, I appreciate that answer. But I did catch your podcast last night that you did. And you got up on there and lied and said the state got a weak case against Yella, and that's not true.
How would you know, sir? Have you seen the evidence?
How would you have seen it if your client hasn't even been indicted on that shit?
Sir, first of all, my client has been indicted, and that's public record. Again, bro.
Why is Jerry Johnson not going to trial with y'all? Why are you there?
Because he's in the feds right now, my friend. Here's the deal, bro. Let me tell you, because I ask people questions for a living. I cross-examine. The way you trying to cross me, I do that shit for a living. So let me just.
I think I'm colder than you.
If you want to information from me, you could just ask for it, bro. You ain't got to ask me like and leave me like I'm gonna lie about it or something. You ain't got to do that. What I'm telling you is, people have said things that Jerry not gonna be there because he gonna snitch. That's fucking laughable. First of all, Number two, he just got convicted on a RICO in the feds, bro. That's why he's not in state jail right now.
He got 20 years.
That's why.
Ooh. He's appealing.
No, he didn't get 20 years. He got 28 years.
Oh, yeah, he's appealing it right now. I know.
28 years.
Right. So it sounds like you asking me questions that you already know the answer to. So anytime there are co-defendants in the case, every attorney gets all the evidence. I get the evidence against Yella. I get the evidence against Devin Brown. I get the evidence against the shooter. His name escapes me right now, but I get everybody's evidence. So that's how I know. So you really shouldn't be asking me how I know. I'd be asking you how you know, because as far as I know, only 8 people have seen the evidence. Eight people. Damn. And it's over 5 terabytes of evidence. I don't know if you know how big a terabyte is, just 1 terabyte.
5 terabytes?
So for you to be
but
like,
if y'all we was all at court together, and y'all didn't even know that they had the information that Trap and Yella both gave their money to your client, and he paid Keywan. That's what they said, right?
5 fucking terabytes, bro.
What are you talking about? I didn't know that. You don't know what I know. You tell me what I know.
Yella Beezy lawyer didn't even know about it.
I don't care about what Yella Beezy's lawyer knows. You don't know what I know, fam. It's that simple. Just because, see, y'all think just because we ain't publicizing this shit, I've been on the Yella case for over a year. Again. It's public information. Go look.
That's not public information. It's not public information that Jerry Johnson paid Keywan. It's not public information.
He didn't pay Keywan. That's because he didn't pay Keywan. And now what I'm gonna do, man? Now what I'm gonna do is it seems like you I don't know why you would say that shit, like you got a fucking wire on or something. I don't know why you would say that. But I'm telling you.
No, I'm saying that's what they said. That is what they said in court. That's what they exact words.
I didn't say nothing about that being public information. I spoke about it being public information, us being on the case. That's what I said. Listen very carefully what I'm saying. I've been on the case for over a year, and that's public information, which means I've had all this evidence for that long. So sit here and tell me how would I know this or that about the evidence, right? That's a joke. That's a joke. You're not dealing with no Pee-wee, fam. And it be your own people. You know what I'm saying? You're not calling.
Don't use the black on black thing, man. I'm just speaking. I just think I'm just.
Toby Shook. Call Toby Shook and make the same allegations that you make.
Toby Shook got Carmelo Anthony 35 years.
Ooh.
Who gives a fuck about Toby Shook? He's a trash lawyer.
He's on the Yellow case.
I know who he is. I see him every day.
Okay. Well, it seems that you asked me all the questions you need, man. You got anything else?
Nah, brother. Good luck on the trial.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's pissed. Oh, he's pissed. He knows exactly who I am. Yeah, he knew exactly who was calling him, man. So yeah, what y'all think about that? Who won that one? I think we caught a body on that one, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Who won that one? Did Andrew catch a body or did Ratchet catch one? Because that nigga left that conversation angry. Oh man, I was on his ass on this. Oh yeah, I think I'm colder than him, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Yeah, man, get your goofy ass on, dog. He get mad at me because you got caught up on your words. Nah, nigga, it ain't public information. My client didn't pay Keywan. That nigga said my client didn't. He got bodied in that shit. He left that conversation mad as hell. It be your own people, man. It sound like you got a wire on. Yeah, he crying. Purple guys, why the hell you even over here? I'm glad you popped up. Get your goofy ass on. You blocked. I don't fuck with you no way. Go sit with the ops in there. Get your goofy ass on.
Shout out to that nigga Ratchet.
But nah, man, this dude mad as hell. So his client snitched exactly. So now we know that the Jerry Johnson is telling. How I know all that information. Yella Beezy lawyer didn't even know it. Nigga, you just got caught in a lie. You don't know. You did not know that they said Trap Boy Freddy paid his money to Jerry Johnson and that Jerry Johnson paid Keywan. You did not know that. Ain't no way in hell you knew that because we was sitting in the fucking courtroom and they was all trying to figure out what the fuck he was talking about. When Eric Barnes said that Keywan White got paid by Jerry Johnson, got paid by Jerry Johnson via Trap Boy Freddy and Yella, they didn't know what the hell was going on in that courtroom. What do you mean? How do you know that? What are you talking about? Yeah. Now we know that Jerry Johnson did pay him. He said he's a lawyer Was he worried about a wire? Yeah, why you worried about a wire? You a lawyer talking to a journalist. What the fuck I gotta wear a wire for? What the? Yeah, he was watching because he just said everything I'm up here saying. Everything I'm up here talking about. He like, you just put the information out. Jackpot James. Hold on, here go Ryan.
I think Ray retarded.
What's up, Ryan?
Where?
You didn't just see me and Andrew Wilkerson get to it?
Where?
On my channel.
I told you, didn't I?
I called him.
Huh?
I called him. He mad at you. He mad as hell at you. He hung up the phone, pissed off. I told because he was sitting there talking about I asked him about them guns he was selling. He said, you want to listen to Brandon Rainwater? You a fool. All he do is lie. He made up all this. He just said you made up all this stuff on him.
Jackpot would have told you.
He said Jackpot. I told him he was calling Jackpot phone. He said he ain't talked to Jackpot in over 2 years and he don't call him Jackpot. He said his client has been indicted on the Mo3 case, but he waiting because he in the feds right now. Then I told him, and he starts talking about public knowledge and this. I said, well, it ain't public knowledge that your client paid Keywan White. My client didn't pay Keywan White. Why are you talking to me like you got a wire on? Why are you talking to me like you wearing a wire right now?
Oh, you don't know you were recording? He was on live.
I don't know shit. I just started talking to him.
And then what else he saying?
He just said he keep people out of jail. He said it be your own people. Why don't I call Toby Shook and ask him these same questions? It sound like I got an agenda, and he was just mad, bro. He was pissed off. I kept questioning him about Jerry Johnson. He said Jerry Johnson didn't snitch. That we fools for believing that.
Yeah, he gave dude that gun. Dude shot somebody with it.
I know. He won't admit to it. He said that's defamatory. He said he could sue all of us, but he's too real of a nigga to do that.
Yeah, too real of a nigga. Not bad. They trying to be real too much.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that nigga sound gangster as hell.
He ain't no gangster. Hell no, he ain't no gangster. It's a difference. He's not no gangster. He just frustrated right now because he thought he wanted to be on the internet.
He don't like this YouTube shit.
Damn,
Ward got no how to swim.
You should have told him hit the link.
He mad. He don't want to talk. He said, "You got any more questions for me, brother?" He mad.
He did.
Yeah, that nigga mad as hell. He said you can't ask Rainwater what time it is right now because you can't believe nothing he say. Say you a fucking liar.
I ain't lying about nothing. It's all. That's why I said people. It's all coming out. You gotta come out. I ain't lying about coming out. That's why you over there frustrated.
Yeah, he said his client didn't pay for shit. Didn't pay shit.
So you should ask him why he didn't do that. He's not in the feds. Jerry is in loose there.
Yeah, he died. He talking about Jerry in the feds.
Lulu.
No, he's in loose there. Why is he charged with it then if he didn't do it?
He talking about he didn't pay him. I mean, we know he did. Just like I told him, I said, Trap Boy Freddy. I said, y'all did not know. I said it wasn't y'all lawyers didn't even know that Trap Boy Freddy and Yella Beezy paid Jerry Johnson and Jerry Johnson paid him. He said, you don't know what I know. How you gonna tell me what I know? I said, Toby Shook didn't even know it. He was confused as hell when they was talking about that. He told me, you don't know what I know all of it. How you gonna tell me what I know?
So he agreed that he knew it?
Basically, shit, yeah, he did.
Dumbass.
How would you get that information if Toby Shook and them don't? How you know?
How you know? Yeah, you should have ate him up. You should have ate him up. We should have ate him up. Anything talking about his ex-baby mama, why she didn't let him see the child and all that, his ex, that's gonna really make him mad. Because he played gangster, but the whole time his daddy was a lawyer back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And we all went to City Hill.
Man.
I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna call you back.
All right, but I'm gonna listen to it. As soon as it happened, you called in, Rain. You ain't slick. Rain, you know you was right there listening to it just like everybody else. So I'm gonna go listen to him and call you back. They said he was talking about Devin in the song. Oh, he talking about Mo3. Somebody sent me a clip of Mo3. Let's see. Andrew Wilkerson. Oh, yeah, I got him. Yeah, we got Andrew. Andrew got all the way out his body. So let's listen to Andrew talk about this case. Let's listen, Andrew. Let's listen to you and your partner.
And I ain't never seen a criminal case put together on videos. There has to be some kind of tangible evidence to show that a crime was committed.
Ryan calling again. Hold on, see what he want. What's good?
Go to it and clip where he said about the you don't know why I know. Like when you said you don't know the trap boy, just clip that. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram.
All right, bet.
And tag his ass. Yeah.
All right. Man. Let's continue.
But just, I mean, rap is an art. And sometimes people get on this here internet and they just tell a flat out lie. You know, you can't take everything people say for gold on this here internet. It's a whole bunch of capping that go on here. So I'm saying that to say that the state's case is very, very weak, you know, and when it comes to Jerry Johnson and Yella Beezy. And when it comes to capital murder for Keywan is very weak on that too. Okay, all they really have is a paid informant, and that'll come out. It'll come out.
So now he says there's a paid informant. He says there's a paid informant on the Mo3 case. Are you referring to Jose Bodega? Who are you referring to when you say that? Are you referring to Trap Boy Freddy? Who are you referring to when you say there's a paid informant on the Mo3 case? And it's about to come out. Well, obviously it's gonna fucking come out. Yeah, we got a paid informant on the Mo3 case. We got a paid informant, and it's gonna come out. So buddy talk with his tongue. We got a paid informant on the Mo3 case, and it's about to come out. We got a paid informant. So they say there's a paid informant on the Mo3 case. And in his words, the Mo3 case. We got a paid informant on the Mo3 case. And it's about to come out real soon.
Oh my God.
Like Tyson talking boy. Who is the paid informant? I said Norbit.
Oh my God, bro.
I said they're like Norbit. Oh man. Is that damage control and sleep and steering the narrative? And said you met your match. Hell no. Nah. I got that. We finna clip that dude to make him go viral for speaking on what he knew. He wasn't supposed to tell me that shit, man. Y'all don't know nothing about what y'all be talking about. I ain't meet my match. That dude is trash. I got him to speak even without saying too much. I didn't even have to really say shit. I'm just being my normal ratchet self. Being normal ratchet. We got him to admit some shit he shouldn't have admitted to. Oh, you do know about it, huh? Well, let's put this out before trial and make it go viral. Because none of the other lawyers knew about this shit. How you the only one that got that information? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck.
And let me say it like this. My clients don't snitch, bottom line. But there's a paid informant, and it'll come.
My clients don't snitch. Y'all some gangsters over there. Hold on. Listen to this.
Sometimes people get on this here internet and they'll just tell a flat out lie.
Sure.
You can't take everything people say for gold on this here internet. It's a whole bunch of capping that go on here. So I'm saying that to say that the state's case is very, very weak, and when it comes to Jerry Johnson and Yella Beezy, and when it comes to capital murder for Keywan is very weak on that too. Okay. All they really have is a paid informant, and that'll come out. It'll come out and expect the deceased here. But
I want y'all to listen to this again. Pay attention to what he's saying again.
At the same time, we got to, represent our client. And I want to say this about our client. He's innocent, and we can't wait till we have our day in court to prove his innocence. But this entire case, I'm going to let y'all know, was made up on bullshit. Okay? Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why Yella Beezy wasn't arrested until 4 or 5 years later. And this
I just want to say nigga like Miss Netta.
Who did what his investigation, it just stems from just a bunch of YouTube, Vlad, rap videos. And I ain't never seen a criminal case put together on videos. There has to be some kind of tangible evidence to show that a crime was committed. But rap is an art. And sometimes people get on this here internet and they just tell a flat out lie. You know,
For sure.
You can't take everything people say for gold on this here internet. It's a whole bunch of capping that go on here. So I'm saying that to say that the state's case is very, very weak, and when it comes to Jerry Johnson and Yella Beezy, and when it comes to capital murder for Keywan is very weak on that too. Okay, all they really have is a paid informant, and that'll come out. It'll come out. But
they got to be talking about Jose Bodega. They're saying Jose Bodega is a paid informant. He's an alleged paid informant. I think that, are they talking about Jose or Trap? One of them two. It got to be one of them. It's a thick tongue guy. They got to be talking about Jose Bodega or Trap. Who they talking about is the paid informant, chat.
And let me say it like this. My clients don't snitch, bottom line. But there's a paid informant, and it'll come out. He know who he is. He probably somewhere ducking his tail right now. Why would he be ducking his tail? The paid informant is somewhere ducking his tail. So y'all looking for him. So y'all looking for the paid informant, and he's ducking his tail. He hiding before trial. We got 11:11 in the room, chat. Let's go. Double tap that screen, y'all. We got 500 likes. Let's get it to 600. Everybody double tap the screen. Let's go. Let's go. What you got to say about our involvement? We will be there for the trial August 24th. Why didn't we want to let the people know anything about?
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand this case is being driven by the narratives of different individuals. Okay, individuals that need you to pick a side in order for them to benefit. Individuals that feed off of hatred. Okay,
who's he talking about? Individuals that need you to pick a side for their benefit. Individuals who, what do you say, thrive off hatred or something? Who the fuck is he talking about? Sound like he got a vendetta with somebody online. Sound like this dude been watching somebody on the internet and he talking directly to somebody that's on the internet. Who the fuck he talking to, chat? I said these are hooligan lawyers. They said he talked like a street ninja, not a lawyer. Exactly. This dude is in the street. So he talking to rain, gotta be rain. They said now he wants to sound intelligent. They said he talking to somebody. I don't know who he's talking to. I think Trap is the paid informant. It's either Trap or Jose Bodega. It's one of them two. They said Well, let's see who he's talking to.
People just straight making up lies. I mean, apparently I'm representing Jerry because I hate Mo3. I've never met Mo3. I've never seen Mo3 in person. I've never shaken his hand. I've never spoke to him on the phone. I've never anything. Okay. And let me just say, I ain't been in this podcast game long, but I ain't green and my antenna's always up. So I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of individuals that really don't care about the truth. You know what I'm saying? They really don't care about the truth. I care about the truth. They really don't care about the truth, and that's hard for me to relate to. If you know an individual is messy, and it's crazy to be a man and be messy. That's wild. But if you know an individual is that, and you know that has a big effect on his narrative, but yet you still choose to believe that narrative and push that narrative. As a matter of fact, a lot of the narratives y'all pushing, I don't even think y'all believe them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all can't be that stupid. You know what I'm saying? But, you just got to understand, if you push that narrative that gives you cause to pause, or that don't sound right, you just as fraud, bro. You just as fraud as him or her. You just...
Salute Alexis, God's favorite. I appreciate that 10-piece. Salute. We at 55. We 45 away from a honey bun. Double tap that screen or support the channel with a super chat. Let's go.
This is fraud. You know what I'm saying? And if you need people to hate Mo3 in order for you to feel like a big man, I would argue that, and I would submit to you that you're a very small man. You're very small. You may look big in the mirror, but you're very small. Self-esteem wise, confidence wise, integrity wise, just very small. So anybody that's pushing a narrative, because let me make something very clear. There was 2, 4, 6. There was 7 people at the meeting. 1 person was missing, okay? The meeting for all the attorneys on this case and the people involved. Those 8 people, along with whatever prosecutors are on here on the case, those are the only people that have seen the evidence. You understand? The discovery is not out there for you to look at. It's out there for us to look at. So we feel a certain way because we've seen the evidence. We've had these conversations. We've seen what the state is coming with or the lack thereof, right? So all these stories that y'all believe in and listening to, you know, just like Mo3 was chasing EJ whenever he cracked, that's bullshit. I was at the hospital with EJ that night.
Y'all hear that? He says he was at the hospital with EJ the night he got into the car wreck.
That's crazy.
And he says Mo3 chasing EJ on the freeway. There's no way that happened. That's cap. What y'all think about that, chat?
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's bullshit, and it's stuff that's being put out there by certain individuals that want to profit from this, and y'all eating that shit up. You know what I'm saying? It just teaches me a lot about life. It teaches me about the world. It teaches me about people. You know what I'm saying? Because you have absolutely no standing to believe what's being said or to say what's being said, and y'all running with that shit. So I hope that you guys are chimed in during the trial. I don't think it's gonna go at all like most of y'all think it's gonna go. And again, that's because I've seen the evidence. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm the one that they don't wanna. You know what I'm saying? I got that nigga music on my why I got nothing against the nigga. And again, that's because I've seen the evidence. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm the one that they don't wanna. You know what I'm saying? I got that nigga music on my why I. And again, that's because I've seen the evidence. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm the one that they don't wanna. You know what I'm saying? I got that nigga music on my why I.
I'm the one that they don't wanna. Why
What the fuck?
I got it.
Bro, what the fuck did I just push, bro? Oh my god. I'm fucking weak.
There's music on my phone right now. There's music right now, chat. I'm the one that they don't wanna. Why I got his music. I'm telling y'all, I got it right now. Y'all talking about it. Hold on.
Being said, or to say what's being said, and y'all running with that shit. So I hope that you guys are chimed in during the trial. I don't think it's gonna go at all like most of y'all think it's gonna go. And again, that's because I've seen the evidence. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm the one that they don't wanna. You know what I'm saying? I got that nigga music on my why I ain't got nothing against the nigga. The nigga jamming, you know what I'm saying? But apparently, you know, I wasn't hired by my client just because I'm an attorney and I do good in my job. See, it be your own people. They take from you. You see what I'm saying? Me and Mike got the skills to pay the bills. We done showed that plenty times over. But apparently y'all want to say that we're on this case because we have picked a side. We have chosen a side. Well, I'm on the side of my client, okay? But like Mike said, we do respect the deceased. But again, you guys need to kind of grasp on to what the truth really is, you know? And, you know, 90% of y'all that's pushing these bullshit narratives ain't even gonna be there when the trial going on. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how much y'all care. Y'all care enough to push false narratives out there, but y'all don't care to check your work. You see what I'm saying? And honestly, I can't relate to that type of individual. So, yeah, man. I mean, we are looking forward to whatever the state does, because right now they got multiple theories on why this happened, on how it could have happened. You know, you can have one. If you're saying one person is guilty, right? You can't have two suspects with two different motives. That just doesn't add up. So, you know, y'all stay tuned and you know, and chime in. And any questions that y'all have, Y'all can send it to Ask Not Guilty Boys. Is it Ask the Not Guilty Boys or Ask Not? Let me see. It is asknotguiltyboys@gmail.com. Send us all your questions, please. Send us all your questions. If we can't answer them at that time, we'll tell you we can't answer them at that time, and we'll answer them on a later date because this is pending investigation still. But, you know, we are intrigued to know what you guys are thinking and what your inquiries are.
So send your questions in. That was well said by my colleague.
You have a line for questions for the Mo3 case?
Colleague Drew. Hey, look, man, we just stand for what's right and what's justice means the truth. The truth is going to come out in that case.
I wonder, can certain people call into that line and go unnoticed? I wonder if that line is open for certain people. Maybe a Trap Boy Freddy could hit that line and ask a question, or Jose Bodega. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
And I think it's going to, you know, shed a lot of light that a lot of people didn't know. So you can't just believe all the media, social media, the bloggers, the vloggers. You just can't believe all of that because that's somebody with secondhand information giving their own opinion on secondhand information. But taking it from only, about 10 to 12 people in the whole world have seen the evidence, and me and Drew is one or two of them, I tell you with a straight face, it's a bullshit case, and it should have never been filed, and it'll come out. So, man, we appreciate y'all. Continue to chime in and watch our shows. We're gonna keep trying to bring.
So that was them basically saying that the state does not have a case. The state does not have a case against these gentlemen. Do you guys believe that? I don't. Let's take it back. Take it back here real quick. Let's take it back here real quick.
Strategic, they drove him. They made sure he went that way. Persona, like a rapper or like a
Let's take it back.
Man, shout out to tweet.
Get the likes up, chat. Get the likes up, chat. Do y'all remember this one right here?
Huh.
Get the likes up, chat. Get the likes up, chat. Everybody double tap the screen to get these likes up. Jeez.
Why ain't nobody on the expressway talking about what they saw really as far as Mo3?
I won't say my name.
Why nobody talking about what they seen as far as Mo3?
Why is that? Why is it?
Tell us, Quatita, why is that? Why is it, Quatita?
Am I tripping? Because that's what Spirit said. Nobody's talking. There's a lot of planners there. You'll never see what really happened. Oh. They shot him several times. Listen, they shot him from the front and the back. He couldn't escape that, I'm trying to tell you.
They shot him from the front and they shot him from the back.
Damn.
I believe that too.
Got two shooters.
I believe he ran into his killer, and I believe Keywan White was the one shooting behind him, chasing. I believe Keywan jumped out that car. Keywan White chased him. Someone took that gun out of his car. He couldn't get to his gun because there was no gun there.
I agree.
Mo3 took off running, got away from Keywan, and ran right into somebody.
Comfortably, bro.
My opinion.
He ran him too comfortably.
There were planners everywhere. It was strategic. They drove him. They made sure he went.
That I'm gonna keep it.
It was no accident. They was on the expressway waiting for him. His manager told him which way to go.
His manager told him which way to go. I believe that too. I do believe that. I believe that. I believe that Rainwater was on the phone telling him where to go.
And you're in trouble, sir. All of you. All of you are in trouble for what you did to him.
The setup is real.
You sent him that way, sir. Y'all all played y'all part, didn't you? But why? Why? How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? Nigga! Oh.
Okay, can't play the music.
To help you. To help.
She got the goddamn music so goddamn loud. She got that music so goddamn loud on there.
But my eyes coming back to their regular selves.
So the planned murder of Mo3, she put it out there right there. The planned murder. They all was chasing him, had him boxed in, whoop-de whoop-de whoop. All this shit came to be true. All of it came to be true.
I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed.
I'm all this shit.
I can't. I'm so fucking pissed. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. I can't.
Man.
Do y'all remember when Sin had a relationship with this woman and they went off and had relations?
City, man.
They took Sin to the forest and were French kissing her and doing all types of rituals. Do y'all remember that? Who goes back far enough to remember when they took Sin to the forest and had like some ORGY with her? Do y'all remember that? Who has been here long enough to remember that? Drop the gems if you remember. Drop the eyeballs if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Do y'all remember that? Drop the gems if you remember. Drop the eyeballs if y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Not my mod Sin. I'm talking about the other Sin. SYN. I'm talking about that Sin. Not my mod Sin. I'm talking about the other Sin. Who remember that shit? Drop the gems if you remember. Drop the eyeballs if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Because y'all, it was a time and point where they took her. They basically initiated her into some other realm. They went to the woods, to the forest. Hello, you was with that. Did you get to see the ritualistic side of this shit? Hello, did you get to see the ritualistic side when you was in a relationship with this woman? Because Cortita spit in her down. How can I say? Right on her tonsils. Stuck her tongue way down there, and they were French kissing her and Cortita. Do you remember that? Thello, you also entered that realm. I'm just saying. Let's keep it a bug. Now that was you, motherfucker. Don't lie, motherfucker. We can run the tapes back. That was you. Most definitely, somebody was Nika. That wasn't no goddamn Nika. That was you, motherfucker. We seen the tapes. Nigga, do you know I can see you? Don't you know? Do you not know I can see you?
Ah, damn.
Come on, we seen that shit. Oh, hell no. We seen the tapes. You gonna try to lie to me it was somebody else whenever.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit.
Yeah, we seen the tapes. Can't lie your way out of this one. We seen the tapes. Let's continue.
Oh, fucking weak.
Oh my God, I'm so pissed. I gotta calm down. Oh, I gotta calm down because I'm so fucking pissed.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it, Ebony. Okay, let me tell you why I'm so upset. Because I killed this boy. And
I'll put it in the
I just... So... Yeah. Whew. So I did the reading, right? I didn't even know who he was. Listen. About 2 months ago, man. I had somebody reach out to me.
Yo, that fake crying is tearing me apart. Like I can't hold it in no more, man. The fake crying is too much for me, dog. Like, come on now. She ain't shed one damn tear. She can act her ass off, can't she? Let's continue.
He said his name was Melvin, and that he needed a reading, right? I can't take that.
Damn.
I've been trying to get to Houston. Listen. Listen. He said his name was Melvin and he needed a reading. He said, I got 500 for you right now. And I'm thinking this is some bullshit. But I'm going to do the reading. And then I called him on the phone to do the reading. I said, well, what's your name? I said, Melvin, right? He said, do you want my real name or do you want what they call me?
I did a reading. He said his name was Melvin. I said, Melvin.
Said, what is your name? Whatever they call you. He said, my name is Melvin, but I go by Mo3.
My name is Melvin, but I go by Mo3.
And I said, oh, okay, Mo. He said, Mo3. I said, oh, okay. I'm in the car with Carlos. Carlos is driving. We on the way to Carlos' hometown. I said, Mo3, oh, okay. So Carlos is now about to drive off the road. He's going crazy. He's like hitting me. I'm like, what? He said, who the fuck that is? I was like, no. He said, that's a rapper. I said, oh.
Notice how them tears stopped quick as hell once she got into the story. Look, she ain't doing all that fake crying and that motherfucker stopped instantly.
Oh, I said, you a rapper? He said, yeah. I was like, cool. So I do the reading.
Oh, Lord, here we go again.
I do the reading. And his two of his homeboys that just got killed and something came through. Like JB or JD or something. And it's like somebody got shot in the leg or whatever. I apparently is supposed to be connected to the Yella Beezy situation or something. And so I do the hour reading for him. You know, he was like, you so dope. I'm going to tell everybody about you. I was like, cool. We hung up the phone. He texts me back and he said, Queen, I got people lined up. I got people for you. And I was like, okay, cool. I said, shit, that's what's up there. I said, shit, that's what's up. And I immediately called over to my boy Poe. He was part of my team in Florida. And I said, nigga, I just did a reading for Mo3 because I still didn't know until the end of Mo's reading when Carlos pulled up his picture. I said, oh, that's the one dude. I said, I know who the fuck you are. I said, didn't you say something about Yella Beezy or something? And he started laughing like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, cool. So then I told Poe, I was like, this crazy as hell. He said, now go back to him and ask him if he'll promote you real quick and say you did the reading and how he felt about you. So I called him. I say, I'm sorry. I don't want to bother you again. I said, listen, you mind doing a video or something saying that I read for you and like tag me to it? He said, you got it, Queen. I said, cool. So then he hung up. He texted right back. He said, matter of fact, I give you endless promotion if all my readings are free. I said, done. So, like, he texted, I think after that, but that was pretty much it. So, Carlos say, when I hung up, I said, Carlos, the reading was so fucking dope. He was like, oh my God, they gonna kill him, Queen. I saw it. They gonna kill him anyway. I said, no, Carlos. His grandma came through and said that she was gonna fucking protect him. This thing, she wasn't gonna let them kill him. He said they gonna kill him, Queen. Yes, they is. I said, damn. So for 3 weeks now, I've been feeling like I was supposed to reach out to him because they keep replaying that in my mind.
Crazy,
I keep hearing Carlos say they're going to kill him. And I said, I'm going to reach out to him. I reached out to him yesterday. And Carla said they're gonna kill him. And I said, I'm gonna reach out to him. I reached out to him yesterday. And Carla said they're gonna kill him. And I said, I'm gonna reach out to him. I reached out to him yesterday.
Take it right to the house.
I reached out to him yesterday. I put it in his DM. I didn't text him. I got his fucking number, you know. I got his number. I reached out to him yesterday. I put it in his DM. I didn't text him. I got his fucking number, you know. I got his number yesterday. I put it in his DM. I didn't text him. I got his fucking number, you know.
Oh God.
I got his number, but I didn't text him. I just DM'd you know. He was on the plane. I seen his picture on the plane. I said, what's up, nigga? I said, hey, King. I ain't heard from you. I said, you good? I didn't hear back from him. I can't believe that happened, y'all. I can't believe they killed that boy. I don't know. Why didn't I don't even know?
Man, how about this bitch, man? Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the page. I'm gonna get on tomorrow and finish this shit, man. I'm tired. So tap in with me tomorrow. You hear me? On my mama. That bitch in and out. I was like, forever to end it, bitch.